All right, let's do this. So you want to be ready for your test coming up. All right, here is the team test. I'm going to go through how to solve it kind of quickly. You can pause me at any time. Feel free. I encourage you, if you haven't worked over it already, please pause it, try the problem, and then watch. That's best case scenario to see either you're doing it right or to catch what your mistakes you're making. But nevertheless, let's get into this. Let me turn this a little bit so I can center on my beautiful mug. So you can see what I look like in all my maskless glory. All right, so we're going to start talking about raised lines and line segments. So right here, remember, if it has arrows on it, that's a line. And you'll have choices when you take the test. So you'll need to choose the one that says line, looks like that. And what's the line, LM or ML? I'm going to call it LM. Either one's fine for a line. The one that really matters is the ray. And a ray we know because it only has an arrow on one side. So this is definitely a ray. You need to choose that ray option. And what ray is it? You always name it starting with the endpoint. So this is KJ. J, if you named it JK, that would be a ray going this way, right? So just keep that in mind. This is ray. Boy, that is really washed out by the light. A lot of light going on in here. That is ray KJ. So here we have a line segment because there's no arrows at all. It's just a definite beginning and end. So line segment. So we're going to choose that line segment option that has no arrows on it. And then HG, GHU, it doesn't really matter. Line segment's a line segment. Okay, now we're going to talk about congruency. Which figures are congruent here? And honestly, congruent means same shape and size. So, nope, nope, maybe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2 down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Yeah, I call that good. Just because it's rotated differently is fine. But that's one. So we got no. Did forget to color these in. No. And then down here, definitely not. So this is the one right here. It's just rotated, but it's the same shape and size. Awesome. I told you we were going to bust through this pretty quick. Some of these take a little longer, though. Don't you worry. All right. Help if I turn this on? Nope, that will not help at all. Okay, in the figure below, AB is 13. Let's label this as we go. 13. And AC is 22. I bet it wants me to find BC. Guys, if I want to know this part of the whole, just take the big and subtract the little piece. Once we take away this much of it, we're left with X. So we're just going to do 22 minus 13 equals what? 7, 8, 9? That's it. BC is 9. That's it. Awesome. Okay, so the next one is find the location of K, the midpoint of JL. So we need to find the midpoint. To find the midpoint, guys, you take the absolute value and subtract the 2 points. I don't care which order you do it in. You can do 2 minus -8, or you can do the absolute value of -8 minus 2. Either way, you're going to do that, and you're going to divide it by 2, right? Because we're averaging the two numbers is what we're really doing. So what do we got here? 2 minus -8 is going to get me plus, which is 2 plus 8 is 10. Absolute value of 10 is 10. What's 10 divided by 2? It's 5. So I'm going to start at one of these points, and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boom, right there. Same thing over here. What's -8 minus 2? It's -10. What's the absolute value of -10? It is 10. 10 divided by 2 is still 5. I can count up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? So those are ways we can do it. Another way you can do it, I like to show options. So that just shows me how to find out where to go from a point. Another way we can do this is you can just say, hey, what's 2 plus -8 divided by 2? We're just going to add the two numbers together and divide them. 2 plus -8, that's going to end up being 2 minus 8. What's 2 minus 8? That's negative 6 over 2, which equals negative 3. What? That's the exact location. I actually like this method better, but I always show this method because it uses the distance formula, and it's good to use that. And again, this one doesn't matter which order you do it in. You could have said, what's negative 8 plus 2 over 2? Negative 8 plus 2, it's still a war, and negative 8 wins by negative 6 over 2, which is negative 3. Either way, no matter what you're doing, you're getting negative 3 for the midpoint. So this is K. Location of K is at negative 3. All right, let's get rolling. Again, pause these before I work them. It's the best thing you can do. Clearly, we clip arted this, and this got slid a little bit to the side, but we'll see what happens. All right, the point G is the midpoint of FH. So this is the midpoint. Find the location of H. So H is out here somewhere, right? We have some point H out here. We don't know where it's at. But here's what I do know. This is the midpoint. So it should be that the same distance I go this way should be the same distance I go this way. All right, so let's use our distance formula to find out what's the distance between negative 32 and negative 17. Well, I'm going to say negative 32 minus negative 17. And take the absolute value of that for the distance formula. Two negatives make a positive, right? So I have negative 32 plus 17, which means this is going to end up being negative 32 wins, and it wins by negative 15. What's the absolute value of negative 15? It is 15. So it's a distance of 15, which means I need to add 15 to negative 17. And when I do that, what do I get? So if this is 15, I need to add 15 over here. Negative 17 plus 15 is going to get me to negative 2. So H is at negative 2. Awesome. I guess I can put that away. Calculate the distance between the points K equals negative 3, 3, and B equals 2, negative 2 in the coordinate plane. Well, let me remind you. These make a right triangle with legs A and B and hypotenuse C. Now, C is the distance between them. And we talked about this. If A squared plus B squared equals C squared, right? I'm going to rewrite that as C squared equals A squared plus B squared. Take the square root of both sides. We get that C equals the square root of A squared plus B squared. And that is where A, in this case, is the vertical distance. I feel like I spelled vertical wrong. I think it's actually vertical. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not the best ever at that stuff. And B is the horizontal distance. I can't believe I did that. Horizontal distance. So we got to do two different distance formulas. So we're going to have that our the distance of KB is going to equal the square root. Well, let's look at my vertical distance, right? My vertical distance is the distance between my y points. So I'm going to have 3 minus negative 2 squared plus negative 3 minus 2 squared for my horizontal distance. I'm just matching y's to y's, x's to x's. Doesn't matter if you switch this order either. Don't care. As long as these are both y's, so I have my y2 minus y1, right? And over here is my x2 minus x1. Again, you could have started with the x's. I just didn't. So minus negative is a plus. I'm going to end up with the square root. I'll move this up a little bit so we have a little more visual there. Square root of 3 plus 2 is 5 squared, so 5 squared. Plus negative 3 minus 2 is negative 5, so negative 5 squared. And that's going to end up equaling the square root of 25 plus 25, which equals the square root of 50. And that is your distance. Now, what does it say? Round it to the nearest hundredths? Okay, so we're going to go on a calculator. If I can get the right mouse, and if I take the square root of 50, it comes out to approximately 7.071, and it says round it to the hundredths, so I'm going to cut it off there, right? Set that to the nearest hundredth, which is 7.07, because that one tells us to stay the same. So we now know that this KB is approximately 7.07. Boom. That's a good problem. I like it. Let's zoom out. Find the midpoint M of the line segment joining S equals -4, 4, and T, which is 8, -6, excuse me. So again, I'm going to draw my right triangle. And like I said, always feel free to pause this, try it on your own. When I'm finding midpoint, I just need to find halfway. Okay? I need to find the midpoint of this line. All right? So my vertical distance, right, is 4 to -6. So how do I find the midpoint of 4 to -6? I'm just going to say, what's 4 plus -6 divided by 2? And when I do that, I get what? -2 over 2 equals -1. So I'm going to go down the middle. We know the y value is going to be -1. I just got the y value because I did the vertical distance first. Now I'm going to do the horizontal distance. And what am I going from? I'm going from -4 to 8. So let's do -4 plus 8 divided by 2. That's going to be -4 plus 8 is just 4 over 2, which equals 2. So that's going to be 2. 2 -1. That's it. We're just using basically the midpoint formula to be able to find that. We just add the two numbers together and divide them, right? So we add our two y values together, 4 and -6, divided by 2 to get the y value. We add the two x values together and divide by 2 to get the x value. Yeah, that's good stuff. All right. Don't be fooled by this one. It's not hard at all. Angle A. Let's look at angle A. Is that right, acute, or obtuse? Remember, acute is less than 90 degrees. Obtuse is greater than 90 degrees. And right is 90 degrees. So this is less than 90 degrees, which means it's acute. Angle B is greater than 90 degrees, which means it's obtuse. Angle C is less than 90 degrees, which means it's acute. And angle D is 90 degrees, which means it's right. That wasn't too bad. An angle measures 31 degrees. What is the measure of its supplement? Remember, supplement means adds to 180. Complement is adds to 90. That just means I'm copying what's above it, okay? So, an angle measures 31 degrees. What is the supplement? I'm going to do 180 minus 31, which equals 149. Boom. It's 149 degrees. An angle measures 36 degrees. What is its complement? 90 minus 36 equals 54 degrees. That's it. Don't make it hard. Just make it right. We're cruising through this test, man. You guys are going to crush this. Awesome. Let's talk about measure. Remember, this just means oh, you can't see that. I didn't realize I was up so high. This means measure of the angle. Right, that measure of the angle. Okay, the measure of angle FGJ, so FGJ, that's the whole angle, is 146 degrees. The measure of angle 2, I'm going to give it 2 marks because it's a different angle, is 79 degrees. What's the measure of angle 1? Well, measure of angle 1 is going to equal, I don't know why I did that, angle 1 is going to equal 146 minus 79, which it's early in the AM. I just am not doing this in my head. It's 97 degrees. So angle 1, 97 degrees. Perfect. Awesome. In the figure below, the measure of angle 1 is 61 degrees. Find the measure of angle 2. Well, these form a straight line. A straight line is 180 degrees, so I'm just going to take 180 minus 61, which is 119 degrees. No probs. This one looks challenging, but just label it, okay? Because there's things it's going to tell us. JKM is 90 degrees. JKM is 90 degrees. It's just telling us that it's a 90-degree angle. Okay, that's easy enough. NKM is 26 degrees. NKM, so that's 26 degrees. And KN bisects LKM. So if I look at LKM, this one right here is a bisector, which means we also know this is 26 degrees because it cuts this whole angle in half, and if half of it's 26, the other half is 26. Find JKL. Well, the whole thing is 90. And what do these add up to? These add up to 52 degrees total. So minus 52 equals 38. Boom! Right there. We're crushing this angle stuff, man. Oh, this last page, man. You will just know your definitions, know what things are. This will be a quick deal. Name one pair of vertical angles. Vertical angles are what's created when angles are opposite of each other, right? There's lots of pairs. 3 and 8, 7 and 4, 1 and 6, 5 and 2. Name a pair. Say angle 5 and angle 2 is what I'll say. But you can name so many others. Name one pair of angles that form a linear pair. Linear pairs make a line. 8 and 4 make a straight line. 7 and 8 make a straight line. 3 and 4 make a straight line. 3 and 7 make a straight line. Just make sure they make a straight line. So I'm going to say angle 3 and angle 7. Basically, any pair of adjacent angles on these are going to be a straight line, just about. Name one pair of angles that are supplementary. Supplementary means adds to 180. Straight line's 180 degrees, so any straight line. I'm going to say angle 5 and angle 1. But if I really wanted to, I could say angle 3 and angle 7 again. But angle 5 and angle 1 are supplementary. They add 180. Yeah, don't make it hard. Just enjoy it. In the figure below, the measure of angle 1 equals 62 degrees. Find the rest of them. Well, vertical angles tell me these are equal, right? So this is 62 degrees. So we know measure of angle 3. And these form a straight line, right? They're supplementary, which means to get 4, I'm going to do 180 minus 62, which is what? 118? So I know the measure of angle 4 equals 118. And those are vertical angles, so I know this is 118. See how that works? Measure of angle 2 equals 118 degrees. That's all you do, guys. Just using properties of angles, making sure we know what they mean. And then last but certainly not least, find the value of x. What do the angles of a triangle add up to? Angles of a triangle equal 180 degrees. So let's add these up. These make 62 degrees. So 180 minus 62 degrees equals 118 degrees. X equals 118 degrees. Boom! We're done with the math. Are you ready? Get ready for that test. Peace out.